is a political commentator and a former White House aide, and he is running for Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. He's a family friend, and I love his mama. Please welcome Joe Watkins. Tell everybody how I know Joe Watkins. Joe Watkins is a very close friend of some of my family and people that are very close to me, and we actually spent Thanksgiving together.
We did indeed.
Did you order the short ribs or did you order the turkey?
No, I had the fish. I should have had turkey. I had the fish. I was trying to be good.
The short ribs were so good. And the turkey was good too. We went to this really nice restaurant in Harlem. So, you know, you're running for lieutenant governor.
I am.
But sometimes you go on vacations and people confuse you for someone else. Who is it that people confuse you for?
I've been confused for lots of folks, Tyra, but I got confused for Denzel Washington. This is
Oh my God! Look at the split screen. I'm loving it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Denzel, yeah. Well, they don't confuse us at the bank. Let me tell you, no mistaking. But we were on a cruise. I was on a cruise in the West Indies, and on the first night of the cruise, there was a big show. We went to the show, my wife and we had our son with us, and we were surrounded by all of our family friends. We were the only African Americans in the group. And at the end of the show, these two dear sweet ladies with blue hair walked up to one of my friends and said, "Is it all right if we talk to him?" And they said, "Sure, why not? You know, you can talk to him." So they come over to me and they say, "Listen, we know you're on vacation with your family. We don't want to disturb you, but you were excellent in Courage Under Fire and in the Pelican Brief, and we loved you in Glory and The Preacher's Wife. You were just wonderful." And I said, "Oh, wait. I said, usually I'm silly, but I said, listen, I'm not Denzel. I know that you think I'm Denzel, but I'm not Denzel." And they said to me, he says, "Oh, don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
Won't tell anybody."
They told everybody on the ship. And for 2 weeks, they followed me around with cameras.
Denzel Washington.
Absolutely.
So now Denzel Washington is running for lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Get him to vote for Denzel.
So let's compare politics with just like some pop culture. Is politics more like the Academy Awards, the Super Bowl, or America's Next Top Model?
It's like America's Next Top Model because it's a beauty contest. It really is. Absolutely. It's a beauty contest. And you have to show. I mean, when it's time, you have to show, because there's some parts of it. I mean, they just when you're on stage. For instance, I've got to go speak before caucuses and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? There's just nothing else but having it in your heart and doing it. You know, I mean, being prepared and all that kind of stuff, but you've got to show when you're in front of an audience. And you've got to be able to tell your story and tell it in a way that reaches them, that touches their heart, and that causes them to say, "That's the person I want to represent me."
Got it. Why should people vote for you in Pennsylvania for lieutenant?
Because, I'd like to say that thanks to my parents, I have the greatest background that anybody could wish to have. I've had the best education a guy could want to have, going to great schools. I've worked for a U.S. senator. I've worked in the White House for a U.S. president, which is great. I've been a political analyst on CNN and MSNBC. I've pastored a church and still pastor a church, which is a great opportunity. I've owned my own business, and I love people. And I can't think
Dang, did you guys hear the list? It was like, pop, pop, check, 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 check. What do you think some of the most important issues for young women are? Because that's the majority of my audience, are young women that are watching. Yeah. What are the issues that are important for them right now? I think balancing their work life with their personal life. That's really tough, because women have so many demands on them, maybe even more than men have. You know, because not maybe, we do.
There you go. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is how do you do that? How do you balance your home life with your work life? And with all the demands, especially if you have kids, you know, you've got that challenge. And then how do you find time to do all the things that you need to do, to find time to make sure that you're healthy and that you're whole, that you're eating right, that maybe your spiritual side is being fulfilled? All that's so important. What about relationships? Because you've been married for how long? Oh, just a few years. 34 years. 34 years. 34 years. Thank you. And how do you get it to last that long? Because everybody's getting a divorce. Well, it takes two. It takes two. Yeah. And you know what? Love takes patience and hard work and never giving up And
I heard you were jealous back in the day.
I was. Once upon a time,
like a jealous.
I was silly jealous.
Tell me what kind of jealous?
Oh, I didn't like any. Now, I met the prettiest girl in the world. She's sitting right over there, Stephanie.
Hi.
Stephanie Ann Taylor Watkins. and we were walking down. I was walking down campus with one of my buddies, late to class, and walking up in the other direction was the prettiest girl I'd ever laid eyes on. And her eyes met mine, and she grinned at me. She doesn't remember this because I wasn't that memorable, but I remember every bit of it. And she grinned at me, and I said, oh, I've got to meet this girl. And I just made it my business to meet her. I met her. We started dating, and it just changed my life. Now, I was
the
jealous.
jealous part? Yeah, the jealous.
Well, I was jealous because, you know, she was beautiful and still is. And I saw her, I spotted her, but, you know, I didn't want other people looking at her. And I remember saying silly things like we'd be in class together after we started dating, and I'd say, you know, what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
You were one of those paranoid boys.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I saw you looking at him.
Right. I said, the blackboard is that way.
What about how she dressed? Did you like with how she dressed? Were you like don't wear anything too sexy?
You know, I loved seeing women in the wonderful dress that they wear. You know, except that I didn't want her wearing anything too provocative. And so we used to argue about that. And you know, I have to credit my wife, who was then my girlfriend, with really building the relationship, because my inclination, as is the inclination of a lot of guys, was, you know, I'd say, I don't want you wearing that. She said, did you buy it? I said, no, but I don't want you wearing it. You're my girlfriend. You're not going to go out here wearing that. She says, listen, I'll wear whatever I please. I said, oh, that's how you feel? She said, okay, I'm out of here. And I'd get up and slam the door and walk out. And then she'd come back. She'd open the door and she'd say, Joe, come back. Just come back. She says, you know what, we're not going to solve anything like this. We may not agree, but let's talk about it.
You know what I love about you sharing this story is that it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many people that are in public office and politicians, it's like a plastic thing, and our relationship was perfect. And we dated, and then we got married. You know, and you're saying, I was jealous, and I was tripping, and I slammed the door, and she said, get your butt back here. That is just real. It is. That's who you are. It's real. Now, you're a very real person, a very warm person, but at the same time, you've had an extraordinary education, as well as your family, which I find amazing. So start off with your education first.
Well, I was blessed. I got a scholarship to a boarding school in Massachusetts. I spent 5 years at the Middlesex School in Concord, Mass. I got a scholarship to Penn, the University of Pennsylvania, which I think is probably, I'd like to think is the best school in the country. But it's a great school. I had a great experience there.
And then your siblings also.
My siblings also
like Ivy League, bam, 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 bam.
They went to lesser schools. My older brother.
Your older brother went to?
My older brother went to Yale. I think it's called Yale. And then my older sister and my younger brother went to Harvard. And my sister went to Columbia. And my sister went to Wellesley. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
I love to death. She is the warmest, spiritist, woman. Where are you, Mrs. Watkins? Stand on up.
There she is.
Yeah. She is so amazing. She gets around. She's dancing a jig. She's like, girl, I saw your show. I love the show. It was so good. Tell everybody how old your mom is.
My mother is 25 years old. It's a medical mystery.
How old are you, Mrs. Watkins? How old are you? How old are you, Miss Watkins? You want to tell us?
See, she doesn't want to be outed, Tyra. That's
you don't
she doesn't want to be outed. Her friends think that she's like in her 40s or 50s, and she knows that.
Okay, I won't blast you on national television, but she is a whole lot older than she looks. It's like, I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be Mrs. Watkins. She just looked, you hear the age, which I'm not going to say, you'd be like, dang! Did I say too much? I hope not. Okay, so the last thing, I mean, people are going to be going to the polls in a couple of months. What is the last thing that you want to say?
The last thing I want to say?
Before we finish this
people
segment,
that make sure that you vote for the best person. I hope that person is me, but make sure you vote for the best person because it matters. The people that you elect to political office, they make a difference in your lives. They create the laws that you have to live with. So make sure when you go to the polls that you know who the candidates are and vote for the best person, and I hope you'll consider me. Okay. Joe Watkins for Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, and I loved that answer. It was very selfless. Thank you. And very, very beautiful. We'll be right back.